Okay, people, so by now you may have heard the big news that has taken the anime community by storm regarding Disney Plus grabbing the rights to the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War anime. A lot of people, when they heard that, it made their jaw drop. They were like, yo, what the heck? Because there's so many questions that comes after that, like, hey, are they going to be timed exclusives? Or are they going to be locked in some sort of Netflix jail-esque type of situation where essentially while it's airing on TV in Japan, you won't be able to watch the 1000-Year Blood War on your streaming service for the next 6 months or so. That's usually how it happens. It happens with anything Seven Deadly Sins related. It happened with Eden Zero's anime. Anything that a lot of these streaming services, but in particular Netflix, has been the worst offender of this. Oftentimes they lock it behind there and you won't be able to watch it while everybody over there in Japan is praising it. And on top of that, it does a very, very negative impact on the series and the franchise's hype. Like, while a lot of other series get to flourish and fans are going crazy each and every week because it isn't on that mainstream scale of just, hey, everybody's watching it as it's airing, a lot of the times there's a lot less hype for the titles. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in terms of the transition that we're going through from the TV cable era into full-blown streaming, because if I'm being honest with you, there's a lot of negatives that are coming from the streaming era, and the streaming wars is making it, while there's a plus to it, ultimately a negative situation for anime fans, and it's a scary time.
I must go, must leave this house. I must go, the time is now. I must go, it's time to get out.
I remember when the Seven Deadly Sins first came with its anime, and I remember I was a little bit confused, but especially going into season 2, when Netflix grabbed up the rights for the Seven Deadly Sins, I was like, wait a minute, so why can't I watch it when it comes out weekly? Why is it that unless I resort to piracy, which they, don't want you to do that, why can't I watch the Seven Deadly Sins as it's airing? I mean, it literally exists out there. In Japan, they're having a blast with it, so why can't I watch this? And that was, in my opinion, the catalyst to where we're at right now and where we're going moving forward, of these exclusives, these locked series, all of the negatives that are starting to crop up and become more apparent as we're entering into the streaming era. Like, let's start off with, there are some benefits. Flat out, there's some benefits to the streaming era. For starters, titles that you never thought in a million years you will be able to watch are now accessible because of all the licensing that's going on. All of these big corporations are now being a little bit more like, okay, we can make some money if we put it on, Crunchyroll or Netflix. They'll give us a big check and we could do something with this IP. So that's one of the major positives that has come from the streaming era. The fact that things that wouldn't happen before because there was no way of getting any monetary gain can now happen. Like, I was at a convention yesterday and one of the voice actors that I was watching, Kale Bear, voice of Gohan and the narrator of Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, the streaming wars fuck over all the anime fans.
One of the things he said at his panel was that, for example, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans screamed back in the day that, yo dog, we want the uncensored version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it's cool and all, we love our Yu-Gi-Oh! But can we get the uncensored version? And when they finally released it on home video, nobody bought it. It bombed real badly, and after, like, I don't even know how many episodes they did, they had to put it to a stop because there was no money coming in. With the streaming era, because now fans are more adept to, hey, all I gotta do is pay this, one fee and I get to watch it right here, right now, it's become a benefit. Hey, maybe we can get the uncensored version of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series on these platforms, or the next series that never got a shot at having an uncensored version. Now there's an incentive of, well, let's go redub that shit and put it on this platform. They're offering us a big check anyway. Boom, we could do that. So there are some positives that has come out of the streaming era, on top of the fact that, a lot of anime that probably wouldn't have got licensed, period, in terms of like the seasonal. Now, hey, we don't have to go and buy that $50 box set to get 12 episodes or something like that. We could just put on, whatever streaming service that you use. But along with that has come a lot of negatives. In terms of downright from the exclusives to the lock times to even production issues, as a lot of these big corporations are investing into these anime because they're like, hey, it would make more sense that they could have more exclusive rights in perpetuity if we invest in this and we we become co-creators, so to speak. And here's what some might say is a hot take, but I gotta serve it to you guys while it's fresh. Personally, I feel like the negative aspect that has come about into the anime industry called 3D CGI, where a lot of series are going in that direction, I'm not going to attribute that whole thing to, hey, they saw Pixar do it and they decided to go in that route. Because realistically, since the beginning of damn time, well, not the beginning of time, but for a long time, those 3D movies have existed. They've been in there, they've been in the theaters and all that jazz, and there was never no push in anime industry to, you know, go that direction. For the most part, oftentimes from my memory and from what I've gathered, when there would be a 3D CGI anime, it would usually be that, hey, they want an anime for this series, but they can't get the budget to make a proper 2D anime, so what's the next best step? Hey, put some 3D shit together. That's what I've always felt when it came to, like, even Berserk 2016. I felt like with that one, it was, hey, we got a budget to do this type of anime. We could do it in 2D, but it'll be like, you know, a shorter amount of episodes, and then we'd have to rush through the content, or we could go 3D CG and spread it out. And if I'm not mistaken, that was exactly what happened with the Berserk movies. It was like, they're giving us a budget. We can make one movie, or we can make 3 movies and do a better adaptation of the Golden Age arc. I couldn't imagine them doing the Golden Age arc in one film, because a lot of these corporations are investing in from the Western side of things, and they're looking at their bottom line, how much money these things can make, what's the profits going to look like. It makes more sense for them to go in the 3D CG direction. Oftentimes, historically, I feel with anime in particular, there's been a sense of, you know, pride and a sense of, hey, we're creating, and yeah, there's definitely a business aspect to it, but it was more so like a prideful thing. A lot of times people used to yell and scream like, dog, y'all don't want free freaking money. So now that Japan has slowly edged into allowing these big corporations to invest and be on not only just the licensing side of things, the production side of things as well, I feel like that's why there's also been a major push to go the 3D CG direction. If it wasn't for Netflix getting involved and them making it you know, Netflix exclusive, I'm almost certain that the new 7 Deadly Sins spinoff that they're doing that's 3D CG either A, wouldn't exist, or B, if they would have found another way to allocate funds to make an anime, it wouldn't be 3D CG. But they're looking at bottom lines at this particular point of, hey, we can't even get a bunch of animators on top of all that because everything is spread so thin, so let's get a smaller team and make 3D CG. So these are, again, some of the negatives that are coming out of this thing of, dog, I mean, I could speak for a lot of people when I say, no, I don't want anime to abandon its 2D format. I want, and I prefer always to stick to what we love and what we've been accustomed to. But, you know, that ship has pretty much sailed, because little by little, we are heading further and further deep into the rabbit hole of 3D CG, despite the fact that even bottom lines probably say otherwise. I mean, hello, Dragon Ball Superhero in like a month has done like only 17 million, a fraction of what Broly did, and a fraction of what a 2D film, One Piece Film Red, did in 5 days. So that's kind of already the audience once again speaking that we don't care about your bottom line. Like, hey, we understand you got to make your money, do it another way, not, you know, impeding on what we love and what has been established of the formula and format of anime. Let's not even forget about, you know, the whole time lock situation. I'm not even gonna lie, that kills the hype immensely for any anime. There's another formula that has been established of, for example, the seasonal anime watchers, that they love to follow their favorite anime when they come out week to week. It kind of integrates perfectly into social media and algorithms. Every week, people with the memes and discussions and conversations, and it builds up the hype, brings in new fans and all that stuff. So that's also something that gets cut out immediately. Granted, there's a gain from, hey, there's that one big moment that, you know, everybody flocks to. Like, for example, with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, when, you know, part 6, the next set of episodes comes out, everybody for those few days that the episodes come out are going to be watching it, talking about it, all of that jazz. It's going to look like an incredible day. But what about 2 weeks from then, 3 weeks from then, a month out? Nobody's going to be talking about it, because everybody's going to go and buzz and go crazy in that one sitting, and that's that. So it kind of also defeats the buzz and defeats the reach. The reach is one of the biggest things of why oftentimes these series that we love, we're like, yo, dog, it got locked into this jail, or it's, you know, only exclusive to, let's just say, Netflix. Nobody's talking about it. What the hell is going on? Because the reach gets automatically cut when you make it an exclusive exclusive. And it's like, of course, like I always say, the pirates, they're gonna pirate. The pirates are gonna go, "Arr, we don't give a fuck about streaming wars," and they're gonna watch this stuff. But on a mainstream scale, also investors and all of the other aesthetics that go along with these anime, they're completely removed from the equation when you go that route, because now the reach gets squashed down even further. Some people were saying with this Bleach situation of Bleach going to Disney Plus that, hey, it was just announced July 1st that Disney Plus as a streaming service has surpassed Netflix and all that jazz with their users, and that's probably why they were able to obtain the rights to Bleach. But even so, yo, they could have their viewers, but guess what? The viewers that go to Disney Plus, one of the major reasons they're on Disney Plus, it's not for anime, it's for the Disney titles. Like, you ain't gonna tell me, and there's no way you're gonna convince me as it stands right now, that there is a huge wave of people that they're signing up for Disney for their anime selection. People are signing up for Disney to watch The Lion King, Mickey Mouse, whatever it is that is a Disney title. Sure, they're going over there, and of course for the new stuff that they have with, like, again, Star Wars and all of that jazz, but people ain't lining up. So even if they surpass Netflix, which in my opinion has a larger anime base than Disney, it doesn't matter, because most of the people over there aren't really there for, like, yo dog, we gotta watch that new Naruto, son, we gotta get that Budichi. Like, that's not what they're there for. So imagine I have a YouTube channel talking about, I don't know, school supplies, and I got like 1 million subscribers of people here for me to talk about school supplies. I don't know why 1 million people want to hear me talk about school supplies, but just follow me. And then I start talking about, yo dog, what about that Naruto episode? Majority of those 1 million people, they don't care. They did not come for Naruto. Why am I saying Naruto? Okay, let me stop before people think I don't know how to pronounce this shit. They're not there for the anime. They're not there for Naruto. They're not there for Bleach. They're there for what they came for. Granted, it could expand their audience, and I'm imagining that's what they're doing, but that's to their benefit, not to us. What do we get out of them starting to expand their anime audience? I mean, granted, maybe it could help for down the road with reach and stuff like that, but the point being is that that immediately cuts down the reach immensely to keep things going. And you're probably thinking, well, what does reach matter? What does popularity matter? I don't care. Popularity is what allows to get more down the road. Like, the more people that watch, the more people that are paying their money to watch these shows, the more incentive for these Japanese companies to say, oh wow, you know, Bleach did really well, maybe we should go and get that Reborn anime and do a remake as well. When they don't see those numbers and those returns and whatnot, and everything falls flat, they're probably gonna look at it like, or they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what, let's make that Reborn anime, but let's do it 3D CG. And nobody wants that either, do we? I mean, who's really like gung-ho going crazy waiting for that 7 Deadly Sins spin-off in 3D CG, or that Slam Dunk movie that's coming through, or that Trigun? Well, the Trigun one looks okay-ish, I guess, but for the most part, people are like, move along. And in the streaming era, another thing that I'm not going to completely attribute it to the streaming era, because a lot of this has to do with anime expanding globally and becoming more of a phenomenon than it's ever been and whatnot, but definitely stressing these animators the hell out. People want the anime faster. They want more anime. So these animators are working on, before maybe they were working on 1, 2, maybe 3 anime. Now they're working on 6. Now they're working on 9, 10 anime at a time. And they gotta go faster. They gotta draw quicker. And don't forget, we don't want bad art and animation, so you better make sure that you're drawing this 3 times faster, same if not better quality. Actually, no, not same, we want improvement, right? So you got to be even better with that pen at the drawing, and you got to go really, really quick. And on top of that, your boss is gonna, which this is an actual story of something that happened in Japan, your boss is gonna pluck your beard hairs if he's pissed off at you. Like, this is outrageous of what's happening to the animators. And a lot of it is, yo, Netflix is coming through, they're like, yo dog, we want more anime. I remember this was a story, I can't recall which director or whatnot, or which animator came out and said, but Netflix is coming through, yo, we want more anime, we're giving you cheaper money, but we want more anime, and we want it faster, and we want it at a great quality. And what's that doing to the people at the bottom tier that are actually making this shit that we love? It's gonna eventually crash and burn. How many people out there know how to animate at a high scale level and draw and all that stuff that they could continue swapping out? Like, it's headed for disaster as it stands. And by no means am I trying to say, hey, the streaming services is a bad thing. Like, it has helped in a lot of different ways, but there's also a lot of negatives. And if we don't see improvements and if we don't see change in a different fashion, I fear that the future of anime when it comes to this is going to crash and burn. We're going to get to a point where it's like all of these streaming services, nobody cares, or we're going to be down to a couple of streaming services. It's going to have to shake up, or the pirates are going to shake shit up, and it's going to get real bad, because I feel like they kind of, to a certain degree, won the war on piracy. To a certain degree, I mean, it's still kind of going, but in terms of on a grand scale, for the most part, people like myself, I'll rather just jump on Netflix to watch it before going and finding one of these sites that's going to give me a virus. Am I endorsing like, yo, go watch it on this service? No. You do what you do, I do what I do. But ultimately, a lot of people think like me of, why am I going to go out of my way or to go download? Like, I haven't downloaded an anime episode from like one of those, you know, off-brand sites in 100 million years. Like, that shit is just, why? I'm gonna just jump on Crunchyroll, Netflix, or whatever else, and I'm gonna watch it. So there's benefits, but negatives, in my opinion, as it stands right now and moving forward as it gets worse, are outweighing the positives, and it could hit a crash and burn. Let me know what you guys think about this, though. How do you feel about the streaming era and what it's doing to the anime industry as a whole? Do you think over time it could get better? If so, you got any ideas of, hey, how do we improve this situation? Or you feel like it's doom and gloom and there got to be another way? Eventually, you know, it could end up going back to cable TV. I don't think that will happen. I think cable TV is pretty much dead in the water, but that's also a possibility. And your overall thoughts and expectations of this whole situation. It's crazy, but the streaming era is a great thing with a lot of negatives that are swimming to the surface, and little by little it could go bad. So laugh for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day, peace in, and yeah, I guess we'll have to see how this goes, dog. Yo, the Bleach Mickey Mouse memes have been something else, to say the least. Have an awesome one.
I have a dream, alone in my room as I sit with the tea. Couldn't possibly think what I often see, and you don't even know how I often blink. Lights be flashing and looking at me, such an odd unique, yet I'm so unique and you're looking at me. If the walls could talk, they would probably read Bleak, and I'd probably say, bitch, get the fuck off me.